So in this lesson, we've gradually picked up some new skills, right, to make our programs more dynamic. Uh, Relational operators in combination with Boolean expressions, and then you put that in an if statement, boom, your program is able to make a decision, right? But so far, we've been assigning our variables the values. What if we want the user to provide those values for us? What if we want to store user input into a variable? Well, in our standalone Java programs, if we want to handle user input, one of the best ways to do that is with the scanner class. So let's take a look at how the scanner class actually handles input from various sources. So a little bit of review. Remember that this class, along with random class, math class, string class, those are all part of the Java standard library. So that's a collection of packages that come with the JDK. So when you downloaded the JDK, those came with it. And then a package is a collection of classes. So for example, the Java Lang package, right, has the string class and the math class. As part of the Java util class, remember all these classes are pre-built code that help you execute common tasks. Well, one of the common tasks is handling input, and the class for that is the scanner class. So if you want to read input, whether it's from a keyboard, a file, or any other source, you're going to want to use the scanner class. So it's part of the java.util package. Here are some useful methods. Probably the most useful is the next line method. It reads a full line of text from the input source. We have next if you want to read individual words or tokens, however you want to refer to those text or word items. So if you want to read word by word, you're going to use the next method. If you want to do just the next integer in the input source, you could use next int. If you want to read the next decimal, you could do next double. If you want to find the next Boolean variable or Boolean value, I should say, then you'd use next Boolean. Like I said, though, next line is the most useful. So if you want to import the scanner class, you got to import the java.util package and then indicate the class at the end, the scanner class. It's not part of the java.lang package, so unfortunately it's not automatically imported for you. So this tells the compiler, remember, that we're going to use the scanner class even though it's from a package outside our current code and outside our current class. So methods in the scanner class are instance methods. So again, let's look at the syntax for declaring these objects. It should look the same. A little bit of review. Remember, when we're actually declaring new objects, we're actually using the constructor and we're using the new keyword. We're going to take a deeper dive once we get to classes on constructors. But this is the syntax you need to remember, right? It's the class name. You give the object a name, or if you want to refer to it as a variable, right? Same thing. Um, Essentially, it's pointing to the object, right? The variable. So you're going to use the new keyword, the class name again, and you're going to do parentheses like we did before. So it's new class name parentheses. There's one big difference with the scanner class is you do need an argument when you're constructing new objects. You need a source argument. So the source argument is actually describing the input source that you wish to scan, right? So that's why it's called the scanner class, because you're scanning that input. So one of the most commonly used input sources is a user's keyboard. And that's the one we definitely want to use in a lot of our programs is prompt the user, hey, can you type in your name? Can you type in your age? Can you type in whatever value uh, and interact with your program? So if you want to actually use that source, which is the keyboard, you're going to need to use a special argument, and that's the system.in argument. Notice system is a package, sorry, a class from the java.lang package. So system class, we're using it in conjunction with the scanner class. Why do we use the system.in as an argument? Well, it's a special argument for reading user input in the console. So whenever we execute our programs, right, we get a little output statement here. So let's say I did Boolean result equals A equal to B. Remember, this is the comparison between A and B. Are they equal? A and B is not equal, so this should print out false. Now, instead of just the program ending, we can actually kind of hit pause We can ask the user for some information. So first we need to declare a scanner object. So the name of the scanner object is input. We use the new keyword. We use the scanner class name, parentheses, and then we pass in the argument. And remember, the system.in argument comes from the system class. It basically allows you to connect to input from the computer's keyboard, which would usually be really complicated to do, right? As a new programmer, luckily the system class has us covered. And it essentially tells the scanner to read data that the user types into the console. So let's actually see that in action. So we're going to say system.out.println, because before I start scanning for user input, it's really important that you tell the user, give them a message and tell them what you want from them. So please enter your name. Usually, for the most part, we like to put the scanner object at the very top if you're scanning a keyboard input, because you're going to probably be using that throughout the program. So scanner input, you don't have to name it input. You call it scanner. You call it scan. I've seen just SC as well. I like input. If you want, you could do like user input if you want to be more descriptive, or keyboard input. We're just going to keep it general and call it input. All right, so input equals a new scanner system dot in parentheses. Don't forget to end with exclamation point. Now it's giving me an error, and it's actually going to give me a suggestion here. IntelliJ says, hey, do you want to import this class? Yeah, of course I do. And there it automatically types in the import for me. Just a little trick for you. I definitely invite you to do the import yourself. Just a good way to remember and not rely too much on your IDE. All right, so if I want to read user input, so I already have my scanner object here ready to go. So if I'm going to scan the user input, I want to do input.nextLine. So input.nextLine is going to capture whatever the user inputs in the following line. So if I want to actually use that response, right, from the user, whatever they type in, I probably want to assign it to a variable. And next line, if I hover over it, it does return a string. So if you're assigning the input.nextLine to a variable, make sure you use the string type, because that's the output of the next line method is a string. So I'm gonna say user name, because it's the name of the user, right? All right, so let's test it out, and then I'm gonna say, just to make sure I did capture it, I'm gonna say your username is a little concatenation. Always make sure to add a space when you're concatenating. String tokens, so username. And yeah, let's run this thing. So you can see the whole program. Please enter your name. And notice it does pause the program. It's still running, right? Because I can stop it. That means it's running. And then I'm going to put William Bitus. And then I'm going to hit enter when I'm done typing. It says your username is William Bitus. Pretty cool. Let's run it again. Let's type in Professor Bitus. Enter. Your username is Professor Bitus. Boom. We made this program dynamic. And that's why the scanner class is so important, so useful, is because now we've added a new skill set, a new trick up our sleeves, right? And now we're able to make our program respond to what the user types in. Really, really cool. Let's add an if statement. Let's say if username dot contains, I'm going to use a string method. So contains is going to check, hey, does it contain a certain substring, a certain sequence of characters? Let's go with the letter W. So if username contains the letter W, you're going to do system.out.println. Your name has a W. Wow. Pretty crazy. print statement there. We're gonna do if no, we'll just leave it like that. I think that's good enough to kind of prove the power of the if and the scanner class together. All right. So I think that's everything. This is kind of a long statement, so I can zoom out. No, I forgot how to do that. I think I go to view, then appearance, and then zoom. Go 150. There we go. Now we can see everything. All right, so I'm gonna hit run, and then I'm gonna put William by this because that does have a W. Your name has a W. Wow. Okay, cool. It worked. Let's see if it really does make a decision. So I'm gonna say Professor Bitus this time, no W. Hit enter on my keyboard. Nothing happened because my name doesn't have a W. It skipped this statement entirely because this condition was not satisfied. Contains, that's a method from the string class. If I hover it over, it's from java.lang.string. Yep, so it just checks, does your username contain the letter W?